likes. Good morning. Welcome to Win the Day podcast. I hope yesterday was awesome. Hope tomorrow's even better. We're going to talk about how to win today. But before we do, I have a conversation that we started before we got on this about social media, TikTok specifically, and what works, timing, all that stuff. Because it's exciting and maddening all at the same time. I think it's vital and a colossal waste of time at the same time. It's just, I don't know. But I was telling Julie and Destiny that I have on my TikTok account, I'm up to like 2,700 followers. I'm about 8,000 or 9,000 likes of my videos. I don't know how many views total, but it goes by followers and likes. All right. So I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers and as many likes as humanly possible. So I'm kind of pumped about my 8,000 or 9,000 likes. I look at my daughter, Anna, who is an influencer, and she's got like 130 million likes. I'm like, wow. So yeah, it's weird how I don't know how it works. But at any rate, so that's social media. I want to talk about how to win the day today in a different avenue. What I want to talk about is the honest broker, okay? And it could be the honest real estate broker, it could be the honest information broker, just the honest person in general. Honesty is it's the hardest word, I guess is what they say in the songs, right? Don't be the person that cannot be honest. Don't be the mean person, right? Like you look big in that dress type of thing. Be the person that's honest though, right? Is now a good time to sell? Yes. Okay. I don't know. Right. Is now a good time to buy? Yes. Right. Are you a good realtor? Yes. All that stuff. Don't be that person. Okay. That's everybody, especially in the real estate industry. Is this a good price? Yes. Right. All this stuff. It even worse is the real estate agent who puts their own opinion on an offer or a counter or any of that stuff. Even when asked, your opinion is zero. It needs to be, okay? Because you don't have the information. Buyers and sellers are not, at least in my experience, will not divulge to you, their deepest, darkest secrets. They'll give you what they think you need, whether you need more or not, and depending how good you are to elicit more from that. But I pressure our people to be the honest broker. I want the reputation as a straight shooter, somebody who's going to give the advice, the information, such that a buyer or seller can make a good decision based on their goals. All right. And here's the way it works. If you've been in this business for any period of time, somebody's going to say, you're going to get an offer, right? As on a listing. They're going to say, is this a good deal? I don't know, maybe. Deals depend. It's really weird how this works. It depends. If you have to sell and get out of here by next week, I think that, and this achieves your goal for selling, yeah, it's a good deal, right? Is there more money on the table? Maybe, if you can wait, right? If you can wait till a better deal, the market comes back, whatever. Is there a better deal? Maybe, right? I don't know. It's really on you, buyer or seller, if this is a good deal. If it achieves, so I ask, does this achieve your goal for buying or selling? Doesn't matter if it's a good deal or a bad deal. Does it achieve your goal for buying or selling? If it does, buy, sell. If it doesn't, well then what would? Let's talk about that and go back and convince the buyer or seller that they're getting a smoking good deal based on your counter, right? And then if they accept it, yay. If they don't, who cares? You weren't going to take that other deal anyway, so you haven't lost anything, right? Now, if they don't take it, your counter, maybe they come back with a better counter, right? A higher price or better terms. That does achieve your goal. And the question comes right back. They countered. Does this counter, the way it's written, achieve your goal for buying or selling? What do you think is a good deal? If it achieves your goal, it is. What I think doesn't matter. right? If you're asking me, should you do it? Yes. Then I get paid. Perfect. Love it. It's a great deal. What I'm going to do is bounce it right back to you. Does it achieve your goal for buying or selling? Simple as that. And when it does, take the deal. If it doesn't, do not do the deal. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to cajole you into doing it, right? If you're asking for permission, I'm going to say, yeah, if it does, if it achieves your goal, then do it. If you're asking for permission not to, if it doesn't achieve your goal, don't do it. Let's keep working. Let's find another buyer. Let's do something, right? Well, will there be another one? Maybe, maybe not. Is the next one going to be better? So much better, it's worth risking this one? Right? So it comes back to every single time, right? Well, or let's go on the other side, the buyer. Do you think this is a good offer price? I don't know, maybe. If you can get it for that price, does that achieve your goal for buying? Yes. Well, then I think it's a great price, right? No, it won't. Well, then I don't think you should offer that much, right? You see how this works? It's real simple. Where you get into trouble, where I see this happen all the time is, oh, that's a terrible price. This is a low ball. They're lowballing you. Maybe. What you don't know is that Mrs. Johnson has cancer and 6 months to live, and her whole dream in life was to have a place at the beach. Priceless. I'll pay whatever. Just get me in there, right? But rarely do they say, hey, Susie's about to croak. I got to do this for her. Rare, right? Or the other side of it is, I'm sucking it. My finances are a disaster, whatever. I need whatever I can get. Very rare does anybody ever divulge that to you, right? So you don't know. All you're doing when you say it's a low ball or, oh my God, this is an incredible offer, you just don't know. Mm-hmm. You don't know. You're making observations based on your own reflection. In that, you can't do it. So let me do this. I got to do that. I forgot my talk. Be the honest broker. People will gravitate. Because here's the thing. You know who likes honest people with integrity and sincerity? Everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody, right? Nobody likes, or very few people like, well, let's see what this little slippery, shady person gets me. That's a bad place to operate, right? And then you got to ask them. Sorry, I'm trying to do this. Oh, no. Cancel that. Does this deal achieve your goal for buying or selling? Such an easy question, such an impactful question. Well, what's your opinion? My opinion is this. It's easy for me to spend your money. Let me ask you something. Does this achieve your goal? Buy or sell? If it does, do it. If it doesn't, don't. Right? But here's the most important thing of it all. It's always about the client's goals. It is never, ever about your goals. We get this commission breath. We get this anxiety. We get desperate. We get high and mighty. Oh, you don't understand who I am. I study this. I know what it is. I'm telling you this and that. And what you are there for, you guys, as a real estate professional, you're there to provide a baseline for the buyer or the seller. Here's what I can tell you. As somebody who studies the market, I can tell you where the prices have been, recent solds. I can tell you where I think they're going based upon the properties that are currently listed for sale, and where we're at right now based on the pendings. Okay? That I can give you a baseline. So when I look at all that, and then I study the market, so I can tell you the trends have indicated over time that in this period of time or under these conditions, prices tend to, or at least in the past, have done this. So we could expect perhaps if they do the same as the past going into the future. I can tell you that. But I can't tell you if it's a good deal or not. That's up to you. Because $500,000, if you absolutely need the money, is a great deal. $500,000, if you got all the time in the world, you can let it ride, is not a great deal. But it's still, they're both $500,000. Mm-hmm. Depends. Does that make sense? Julie, tell me about this. You've been doing this a long time. Does this come into play? Am I crazy?
You're absolutely right. I mean, one of the things is...
Hold on, I'm going to record that. What did you say?
You're absolutely right, John.
Thank you.
One of the things that you need to be comfortable saying to people is, I don't know, and no. And a lot of times realtors feel like they need to have every single answer. And if you pretend like you have all the answers, you lose credibility because nobody has all the answers. And that's just a reality. So you have to ask questions, which I know you do well, John, is you ask people questions. Does this achieve your goal? Is this going to, whether it's having a home at the beach or selling because your significant other is dying of cancer and you need the money to pay bills, we don't know. And like you said, I made that mistake early on, is I would make assumptions and I would give my opinion. And then I realized your opinion, you need to keep to yourself, because they only give you the information that they want you to have, that they think you need, even if they completely trust you. You don't know everything. So know the trends, know the market facts, be able to give them the facts and the truth, and don't be afraid to give them the truth. This bathroom looks, you got to choose your words. You can't say hideous. This won't appeal to a lot of the buyers you want. Choose your words. You might want to paint this bathroom to appeal to more buyers so that you have more options, whatever the thing is. But don't lie.
Exactly.
This looks great. This looks wonderful. No, it doesn't look wonderful. The market will not respond well to this. Find basic things.
They need honesty.
Be honest. You have to be honest.
Yeah. You don't have to be brutally honest. But
No, you don't have to be mean. Wow, this looks like shit. Did you do this?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
No.
Andrew, give me some insight from your perspective.
Sure. I have two takeaways from this morning. First of all, when I was a young agent, I took a listing and we got an offer of probably 50, 60%. And I recommended to the seller that we either just turn it down completely or that we counter. And she said, no, I want to accept the offer. And I was like, this is crazy. The house is worth more than that. And she said her mother was in the hospital dying. She said she got a letter from the city, a notification that if the lawn wasn't cut by a certain date, she was going to get a fine. And it wasn't about the money. And, for me, it was like, I would have tried to get her the most money as possible, but that was not her situation. And so that was one thing as far as, takeaway, listen to what the motivation of the buyer or the seller is. Second thing is like, when's the best time to sell it? I often get that question as an agent. And I would also often tell people that, well, of course, if you want the most money for your house, it's the spring or summer. But then the longer I've been in the business, the more I realized that's not about that. It's more about what is their situation and what do they want to accomplish. For instance, if a buyer or a seller was to sell during the best time of the year, then maybe they had a $200,000 house and they got 100% of their asking price. That's great. But let's say they got 95% in the off market, so they only got 190. But let's say they were upgrading and they were buying something more expensive that was 400, and they got the same 5% off. Then technically they would have bought that house for 380 and made a $10,000 gain. So it's really about what the situation is, not so much about what we feel or we think is the best, or and it's more about what the market's doing and what the motivation of the client is.
So this comes back to studying the market, right? So the trends. If you're studying the market on a regular and somebody says, hey, when's the best time to sell? Well, the best time to sell is when you're ready to sell and get a price that works for you. That's the 100%. Best time.
Yep.
But if you're trying to time it in such a way, and that's difficult too, but here's what I can tell you. Based on the past trends, homes in your neighborhood generally sell more often in these weeks or months than in the rest of the year, right? And you can show them a graph. That type of thing. This comes into play, you guys, with listing prices too. What price should I list at? Depends. Why are you selling? What are you trying to do? What's your goal for selling? I got to get out of here. Well, I would go cheaper then. I got all the time in the world. Well, I would go a little higher then, right? So it really depends. What is your goal for selling? Have you run into this yet, Destiny, with your deals?
For sure. The one that I'm closing on today was that same situation. Did the CMA, ran the comps, got there and looked at the house, was like, oh no. And had to be brutally honest and say, I'm recommending you sell this as is. They wanted to paint. I said, I would not put any more money into this. I said, this is probably going to be an investor's flip. They're going to gut it. So it's got good bones, but so we had to price it accordingly. And she had a goal to move and get this one sold. And that's what we were able to do. We took an offer that was a good bit less than what she wanted, but it accomplished her goal. So
I tell you what, when you get a reputation as being honest, integrity surrounds you, other people want to work with you. Other agents will believe you. They'll give better offers. They'll everything will get easier because they know you're not trying to trick them,
Right.
manipulate them, use them, whatever. If that doesn't mean you don't represent your client. You represent your client to the max ability, right? 100%, 110%.
Yeah.
But you do it in an honest way, with high integrity and high sincerity. Do not. Oh, I tell you, one of the things that drives me bonkers. What a crappy, you present an offer. What a crappy offer. There's no way the seller's going to even entertain this. Well, thank you for your review, right? I've done a lot of offers that I got where I didn't think in a million years a seller would take it. But I presented it like it was the best thing in the world, right? Not like, oh my God, you got to take it. But hey, here's the way it works, right? You do this, you're going to net this, and it's going to do this. Does this achieve your goal? Yes. Come again? Yes, I'll do it. Okay. Right? I was like you, Andrew. What? No. This is too low. I'll take it. Right?
And you got to remember, don't mess up the deal. It's not
your deal. It's their deal.
Exactly. Right. It's their deal, and you have to ask them what they want. Realtors get this ego that I need to negotiate the best price for the seller, the lowest
it's their
for the
property.
buyer.
I would never pay that for that. Well, are you buying it?
That.
No. Well, good. Get the hell out of here then.
Right. Don't mess it up. Then you want to counter, and then it gets blown up, and you're going, oh man, I just blew it up. I blew it up. The realtor. Is that your role? No, your role is to facilitate and get to the finish line.
Right.
Your job is to facilitate. You're not the manager or the whatever. I know you got fiduciary. I got all that, but that doesn't allow you to impose your opinion onto their deal. Do not do that.
Don't do it.
Do not do that. And I want to do it from time to time for sure.
We all want to. It happens to everybody. You've just got to check yourself, and it's something that you constantly have to be thinking about. I love it when realtors always say, my client won't do this, my client won't do that. We won't do that. We won't. And when a listing agent says, we'll never do that, I think to myself, and I'll sometimes ask them, oh, I didn't know are you on the deed? You're one of the owners? You have percent ownership? What do you mean we? Yeah. Why don't you take
I'm representing
the decision maker. It's their decision. It's not yours. And don't be that realtor. It's not your decision. Don't mess it up for your client.
And we're single agents here, at least in Florida. That means we represent the seller and the seller only until we get a transition to transaction. But it shouldn't matter. You should represent your client's goals, buyer or seller or both. Pure and simple. Let them decide what's right for them. What's that?
I think it's important to remind them of their goals because sometimes they lose sight of that.
Well, you can do that.
Say, hey, this is what you wanted to do. I know you have a goal to get from under this mortgage. Let's get you out of this payment for next month,
right?
Or it can sit. So reminding them of what their goals, I think, is important too.
Can I be honest with you?
You have to remain unemotional.
Right? Yes. Get your ego out of it. Can I be honest with you?
Please.
Right? That's what everybody says, right? Please. Yes. Here's what they're saying, right? They're saying the kitchen needs to be updated. They need this, that, and the other thing, right? Don't make it about, here's what I'm saying, right? Here's what they're saying. I don't know. Are they wrong? They always say, I see this every time. We got to renovate the whole place. Oh my God, it's a tear down. And then they buy it and do nothing. Right? Right? But this is what they're saying. Well, they're crazy. Yeah, maybe. But, if I can be honest with you, it's a little worn. What do you mean? Well, those wear marks in the carpet, that's worn out. Right? And they know. We see it on the rental side all the time. Oh my God, the people, they would like an extra blanket because it's cold. Tell them to put on a sweater. All right, fine. But then, if they go and rent, oh my God, it's freezing in here. What is wrong with these people? Right? It's just like, come on, it's crazy. All right. So anyway, to win the day, I want you all to be the honest broker. Okay. Take your opinions out because it's always going to be about your client's goals. If you can remember that, and if you can be honest, if you have integrity, people are going to line up to work with you.
And to Destiny's point, remember, to remind your clients what their goals are and get them out of the messy in the middle, nitty gritty, all the emotional, oh, I don't like this, that, or the other. That's, skip all the mess in the middle and get to the finish line. Remind them of their goals.
I'll give you another one. Is your goal to beat this person? Right? Because the ego gets into it a lot of times. I'll take the deal, but I want $100 off. What's our goal here? Oh, I got to win. Okay, let's get you a win, right? But you might need to remind them. Your goal is to sell the house or to buy the house. It's not to nail the person to the wall, or maybe it is. And if that is, well, let's go for it. But yeah,
be careful when you do that. You might mess up the deal.
So great. All right, I hope this helps you. It's Friday. Here's what we're going to do, right? Like we do every single Friday. Create a goal for yourself by the end of the day that you can achieve. Not so hard that you can't, not so easy that it doesn't matter. But let's set up a goal that you can achieve such that when you go home today, you're going home with a win. You're riding high. You're feeling good. Birds are singing. Music's great. All that stuff. And you have a wonderful weekend. Your friends like you better. Your wife likes you, or your husband or your spouse. God, what do you say? Your other person loves you, and your pets even more so. All right. So there you go. Have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
Take care, guys.